So I'm Jacinta Delalandi, and my role in Phantom of the Opera is musical director of orchestra.
Wow, so that's a really big job.
It's a huge job.
Yes, so can you tell us about the music for Phantom?
So the music for Phantom is just iconic. Like, that's probably the one word that I can use to describe it. It's Andrew Lloyd Webber, and it's iconic. It's known throughout the world. I mean, there's very few people. You'd have to have been living under a rock for the last, 30 years not to know anything from Phantom. So one of the biggest roles for us as an orchestra is to make sure that we're doing what we need to do to make sure that it translates and relates to everything else that's come before it, because it is so iconic.
That's right, and you'd also be working hard with, not so much working with the vocalists on their vocal, but in working to get the orchestra and the vocalists together. How are you finding that so far?
Yeah, actually it's a bit of a pleasure for me. I really enjoy that, having spent a lot of time on stage as well. I really enjoy this part of the process where we start to marry the orchestra, all of the instrumentalists with the vocalists. So it is a huge job and a huge amount of responsibility, but the great thing is that as soon as you add an orchestra to a choir, it just lifts everything that they're doing, because they can hear stylistically how things can be played and how they need to interpret the music, and they just feed off each other, and it's sort of that end process of a musical. Everything starts to come together and you see all of the hard work that's been done.
I'm just thinking, for the vocalists, this is quite a challenging show.
Yes, it is.
How would you describe it for the orchestra?
In terms of the orchestral score, it's probably not as challenging as some of the musicals that we've done with RMU. So definitely we were having a conversation this morning about Les Mis and just speaking about how challenging that was for the orchestra. So in terms of the actual demand, it's maybe not quite so challenging for our instrumentalists. However, the challenge comes in, like I said, making sure that we capture the spirit of what Andrew Lloyd Webber wanted, and making sure that we're doing our very, very best to support our vocalists, who, in this show, have the more challenging part. So, yeah.
Wonderful. So you would work quite closely with the co-directors, so can you tell us what it's like working with them?
Oh, Grant and Joy are just delightful to work with. So it's fantastic because we just bounce ideas off each other, and if they ever need anything, they'll come straight to me and say, Jax, this is what I need from you. And likewise, if I'm feeling a little bit concerned about something, what do you need from me here? So there's a really lovely synergy, I think, between the creative team, because everybody's so open and trusting. And I think it's going to produce a good product in the end.
That's lovely. So now, in the case of your orchestra members, can you talk about the range of experiences, etc., that we've got?
Yeah, I really love these opportunities to put together community ensembles, because we have obviously our experienced players who have been doing this for, some of them, close to 40 years. So it's amazing to have that level of experience available to us, and those people really love returning to RMU year in, year out to do the shows for the musical union. The other thing, probably most people who are watching this know that I'm a teacher and have been a music teacher in the area for a long time. So I really believe in taking these opportunities and giving them to some of our younger musicians, emerging musicians, and really giving them an opportunity to develop alongside that level of experience that we have on offer here in Rockhampton. So we have some. I think our youngest is 15.
Wow.
Are you 15? He's 16. So our youngest is 16. No, actually, our youngest is Millie at 14. So we have a 14-year-old trumpet player who's doing her first ever community show, one of our French horn players. So I think there's about 4 students, and this is their first community show. And they're all teenagers. So it's just amazing to have them sitting in and getting the experience, sitting next to our really experienced, almost semi-professional players. So
okay, so if there was one thing that you wanted to talk about that you absolutely love about this show, what would it be?
Oh, it's Phantom songs. It's the lead songs. It's just, like I mentioned earlier, they're so iconic, and if you're a musician or a musical theatre geek and grown up listening to this, these songs are just, your childhood and your musical theatre experience. We're so fortunate to have just such talent in Rockhampton. I just love sitting and working, particularly with everyone, but particularly our 3 leads, in Jacob, Lachlan and Fran. It's just delightful to sit and work with them. So for me, that's just been an incredible experience to hear them sing those beautiful songs that I grew up listening to.
Finally, what, for the Rockhampton audiences who are going to come and sit in the Pilbeam seats, How would you describe the show to them? What are they going to experience?
Yeah, it's a bit of a roller coaster, really, isn't it? They're going to experience phenomenal singing, grandiose sets, beautiful costumes, an amazing orchestra, and just a really polished production. So this is something that I'm very proud of as a musician. I'm really proud to have my name associated with this. So I just think it's going to be a spectacle.
Hi, first introduce yourself and tell us what you're doing in Phantom.
Hi, I'm Nick Smith and I'm playing French horn in the Phantom of the Opera Orchestra.
Fantastic. So tell us about the music that you're playing.
It's very different to what I'm used to. It's a lot more difficult, a lot more challenging, but it's a great experience and it gives me a nice challenge.
How does it feel to be, is this your first show?
Yeah, this is my first time being in the orchestra for a musical. I'm used to being on the stage, so it's interesting to see how the other side works. It's a great experience and yeah, it's so worth it. The Phantom of the Opera is just an amazing show.
Okay, how do you feel about the other people in the orchestra that you're working with?
They're all incredible and it's great to be working with such amazing instrumentalists and working alongside them and getting tips off them to make my playing better. Yeah.
Lovely. And Jax is a conductor, how is she?
Well, Jax is an amazing conductor. She knows what she wants to hear, knows how to make it happen, and just confidence in us as players really helps.
So if I had to ask you what the most important or the one thing that you're enjoying the most about the show, what would it be?
I love hearing it all come together. The music is amazing, and yeah, hearing it all together in the end with the ensemble singing and the orchestra together, it's amazing.